Very good morning, Professor Ludwig von Fatpants at your service. So anyway guys, it's not too often I'm singing the praises of stuff, but I must say I got to give kudos where kudos are deserved. And yes, I broke something, but I mean fatigue and wear and tear, I mean it's still a testament to this thing and the good old American ingenuity that went into it. Built in Michigan, this Ryan's product, I'm telling you, it's a beast. It's a beast. This head, I think I've had this head now. I know I've had it. I think we put it on in either 2017. So what's that? 7 years? So I've been running this head for 7 years, and I don't know. I'd say it's safe to estimate at least between pulpwood and log, pulpwood equivalent to log and log volume. I'd say probably 2.5 million feet, or at least 2 million feet a year average. So you do the math on that. I mean, I'm gonna say without too much embellishment or exaggeration, I would say this head's probably cut, between 15 and 20 million feet between pulpwood and logs and pulpwood equivalent, you know what I mean, truckloads, whatever. I'd say that's probably not that too inflated. I'd say, at least 15 million feet. Now, I did replace these grapple arms because the original ones were kind of prototype-ish, but Ryan's helped me out with that. So I did replace them. They've been probably 5 or 6 years, but I've never done a bushing on this thing yet. The bushings are still, I mean, look at these bushings. They're not even worn to the point where they need, look at the bushings. He uses a hardened spring steel bushing in these, and they're still, look at them. There's not hardly any wear on them, Now this operation, I've fixed it a number of times, probably 2 or 3 times. But there's a tremendous amount of fatigue on these. What happened yesterday, because I check it for cracks. Whenever you run these things, you grease them, look for cracks, because you do get cracks. Fatigue. I mean, God almighty, can you imagine the leverage on those tongs when you're, holding onto a tree and dumping it? But like this one, I noticed while I was fixing this had a little crack in it, which could very well have been from this. This was kind of a catastrophic failure, so I ground that all out. I grinded it out and filled it. But I got this all welded. I got to weld this. I put a rod in there to fill it, but I got to make 4 or 5 passes on that, and it's done. I can put it back together. I made a pin last night out of just pin stock that I had laying around. So it's a little rough, but I ground it. It fits good. I already tried it. It fits good. But I had to drill a hole in that. But whatever. That's done. I'm going to put it back together here in a few minutes. I'm going to finish welding that, let it cool. I stopped for a coffee break. But anyway, I'm just kind of singing the praises of this thing. You got to expect stuff like this. Even on a regular log grapple and a log loader, you get fatigue and cracks, and you got to fix them. But what happened yesterday is this pin broke, and it broke like right about here. And it just put all the pressure on this billet here, on this boss, and it just cracked it loose, and it was kind of in there cockeyed. So I had to pull it apart, and I cut that all out and, cleaned it up, And we'd done this one, I did that one last winter sometime. So it's not a big deal. Every once in a while, maybe every 6 or 8 months, you got once a year or something. It'd been a while. I don't know if I ever repaired this side. The other side I repaired a couple times, this side. But other than that, I mean, the amount of work this thing does. But it just amazes me how the bushings are still good in the thing, I mean, they build these very well. It really is a good product. I'll tell you what. It's simple. It's pretty easy to work on. And it's just a club, man. I mean, it really is. But I can't believe the bushings, But anyway, the bushings are still good in the damn thing. And that's 5 years. Well, the bushings in these, in this part are on those, and they're getting a little sloppy, but they're still not bad. I mean, they're still probably run a year before you got to knock the bushings in it, you know. And but look at these. I mean, look at the. There's no egg shape. There's no wear on them. There's, you know, it's like, wow, well built little product. And I'm excited about some things that are going on here at the end of the week. Next week I'll fill you in. We're going to do a little upgrade. Not going to say what, but we'll keep you informed of that. Big surprise. I'm like a kid at Christmas, you know. But I just wanted to do a little vid. Thought it'd be something positive for a change. So anyway, that's what I'm doing this morning. Jakey's coming back with the skidder here in a minute, and we're gonna put this thing back together. But so that's what I'm up to. But I cut about 3 loads yesterday morning, and then about 20 after 1, I went to cut a big hemlock, and I seen the grapple just acted weird. It kind of shuddered. I said, uh-oh, something's going on. So I got out and looked, and here, sure enough, this boss had cracked out of here, you know. So, but again, the pin had broke. So, you know, when the pin broke, it let all the pressure onto this boss, and it just, you know, probably as I was tipping a tree, it put all the pressure on it, and, you know, it ripped the weld out of it. But no harm done. I mean, it's pretty easy to fix so far. I might have a couple hours in it when I'm done, so it's not a big deal. A few minutes making a pin. But I would advise anybody who runs this kind of stuff, anything, you know, when you replace a hydraulic rod or anything, you know, I keep a lot of that. That pin, I think that's the original pin. But I make a lot of pins out of chrome rod. It seems to work good. You know, that last one was in there for a couple of years and it finally broke, but I don't know. I mean, it seems to work good, and it maybe helps keep those bushings. Now, this one isn't. This is just coal roll, but it'll work. You know, I mean, it was a pin. Had a keeper on it. I had to cut it off with the chop saw, and it mic'd up 1968, so close enough, a few thousandths off at 2 inches is what I needed. So that was almost exactly what the other pin mic'd. So, but so I mean, you know, I keep all this stuff. I got piles of this crap. I am running low on 2-inch stuff, so I'll get a few pieces somewhere. But yeah, I keep that stuff. And I mean, this stuff is easy to make. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just a, you know, 2-inch pin, coal roll. You know, I had to center that up, put a hole in it for the bolt keeper, which goes through here, you know. But I mean, stuff's easy to make. Crude, you know, you can do it with I just used my metal chop saw and cut that off. My blade was almost gone, so I had to make a couple of cuts. I didn't have a new blade for it, a chop saw, but it's all right, who cares? You know what I mean? I can grind that flat anyway. And then I beveled, put a little chamfer on this end, just with the angle grinder, so it'll start down through the bushings. If you don't do that, it'll push your bushings out as you're starting it in, you know. So just chamfer that a little bit, drill the hole, and voila, I got a pin. I mean, I don't mind buying a pin, but the problem is you got, you know, a day down or 2 days waiting for it. So if you keep that stuff handy, it's pretty easy to fix this stuff. That's what I like about this product. It's simple. You know, some might say, oh, it's crude or what. Yeah, well, I like crude because I can fix crude. You know, there's not a computer on that thing. There's not anything. There's nothing on that thing I don't understand. And you know, they've got this simple chain adjuster in here, which is, you know, again, it's crude. It doesn't have self-tensioning, but there's nothing to it. You know, you've got 3 bolts right here, and you've got a little cam. And you loosen the bolts, you stick your wrench on your cam, and you push your bar out and tighten your bolts, you know. And there's no, I mean, I'm not knocking Rotobeck. Rotobeck makes good stuff, blah, blah. But man, like on that super saw I had, it's so complicated. Like the auto tensioner on a chain quit working. And it took me 2 or 3 days to figure out what was wrong with it. You know, calling them, testing this, testing that, and here it was some stupid little check valve somewhere, but there's like a whole hydraulic system to do to maintain, you know, or to troubleshoot with that stupid, you know, I don't know. I mean, is that luxury worth it? I don't think so. I think it just, again, I guess I'm a simple guy, 10th grade education, been doing this stuff all my life, and I guess too stupid to do anything else. But I just have an affinity for stuff that's built rugged and simple, you know, and that's the way it used to be with everything. You know, I like this old machine, mechanical engine, no computers on it, a bit crude maybe, I don't care. I'm a logger, I'm not a fashion model, although I do look like one sometimes, I know. But you know, I just can't say enough good about these heads. They're just, I just love it, man. And you know, I'm not a paid consultant here. I just like what I like, you know. And simple things, simple, you know. I didn't like the guards. And again, this head was an early head, you know, so they had some things that needed redone on them, and they did it, you know. We were having problems with these pins breaking, and they sent me all this reinforcement, you know, because it would break these rods. It would snap, you know. So what it was doing is moving a little bit, and it would snap this pin. So they devised this, and it's never had another problem with it. And then like these guards, I just made them. That's simple angle iron, and all I've got on there is exhaust clamps, you know, and you can take them right off and get at your hoses that go in the top of your grapple, your tilt cylinders. Simple stuff, and I like it. So again, simple people like simple things, right? Doesn't take much to amuse me. No. Alright, I suppose I better get back to work. I've had enough BS time, but I just thought I'd make a short vid and just, again, I'm plugging a good product, you know, and like I said, I'm excited about what's coming next week. I'll keep you informed. But this has been a damn good product, and anybody looking for something that's, this thing is perfect for the smaller operator who's, you know, doesn't want to do all chainsaw work. You know, me and Jake alone, we've been getting, oh, he's out there loading the truck right now. We've been getting in decent timber like 3 loads of logs and a load of wood every day, 2 of us. That's pretty good. I mean, that's semi-loads, and they're big loads. You've seen the size of the load we put on. I mean, that's pretty damn good for 2 guys. And very little chainsaw work, very little. I mean, he trims up a few nubs that I missed, but even with this bushy hemlock, I left that one because it's full of bird holes. It's a den tree, but yeah, you take bushy hemlock like that, that's a pain in the butt to, you know, to limb. You've seen me, I take that head and tilt it down and just sling it forward, and it just bashes the limbs all off it. Now you got nubs to trim, but a guy can, when he grabs it with the skidder, a guy can pull up and jump out and just trim a few nubs. You're not tripping over all those branches, and you know, it's really quite efficient what I can do with this thing. And for what we're doing, you know, for smaller operators, I mean, if you got 3 grapple skidder running and chipping and blah blah blah, yeah, all right, you know, get a hot saw. You know, I get it. But although, if you're just dumping trees, I can dump a lot of trees, but you know, just dumping them, bunching them, that's why. But you guys see what I'm doing. I'm trimming limbs off them. I'm cutting tops out. I'm taking the wood. I'm basically processing it in the woods, and I'll take my wood out of my tops, and I'll throw it in the bundle, and it's basically, when it gets out there, it's ready to go on a truck. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. Cheap compared to a processing head. Very, very little. I mean, keep it greased and do one of these repairs once in a while. Very little to it, you know. I mean, it's not like figuring out a processing head. I think the processing heads would be fine if you had the money to buy brand new. But just those heads now are a couple $100 grand. If you had the money to buy a brand new processing head, a brand new forwarder, and a brand new, you know, processor machine, yeah, that would be the cat's meow, right? But you're talking $1.5 million, $1.2 million now. And with these markets the way they are, there's no solid markets anymore. You can't depend on anything. You can't really make a business plan, you know. So that's where I'm heading now. It's just we sold the building, thank God, thank you Lord, and we're just trying to, you know, crawl down. And I didn't get quite what I wanted out of it, so I got a little residual. But you know, I'm looking now. If I could sell some other stuff, you know, I could be totally out of debt here very shortly. And you know, I still have a nice round of equipment. It's older, like I said, it's older cruder stuff. But hey, you know, if anybody, Kimmy, I just can't get it to run right. We put new injectors in it there the other day. Thought it was an injector aerating system. It's not. I don't know. I got to try running it off a bucket again and see if it runs good. But I've just at my wit's end now. I don't know. It could be the high pressure pump. That's probably where I'm going next, I guess. And I don't know. It starts good. It runs good. It's running on all cylinders. As soon as you get it warmed up and you put it under a load, it just falls flat on its face. So I thought it might have been an injector, because guys tell me, well, those common rails, if the injector isn't proper, it'll aerate the rail, you know. So, but I don't know. Any of you guys who watch this channel or into that stuff, you know, float me an idea. I'm listening. So. All right, I gotta get back to work. So, ta-ta, guys. Have a wonderful day. I'll try and make a video cutting some trees here. But, all right, see ya.